All right, welcome to Kiki with the Bros. I'm Francisco.
I'm Chris.
And I want to introduce our special guest today, an icon. Hello.
Hey. I'm Ron. Hello.
You don't want to give your bio? You know, it's had information about yourself, the girls who don't know you. But I'm sure the girls know you.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really like running it down. Which one you want? My ballroom?
Girl, you can just give me a rough bio, just hit a couple bullet points about yourself.
Oh my God.
Like the main points.
I'm Ronald G. Murry, he, him, his, MPA, LSW, LCD3. I'm the Associate Director of Health Advocacy here at Equitas Health. I'm the CEO, owner of Murry Consulting Group. I'm the Executive Director of Peace of Mind for All, LLC, a nonprofit started by myself. I'm also a board member. I'm sorry. Speak up.
Yeah, speaking to your mic.
Oh. I don't even know him. What else about me?
Okay.
In ballroom, I am the icon, overall godfather, Ron Drama Exclusive Live-In, founding father. I am one of the pioneers and creative, the OKI, formerly known as the Kentuckiana region. I'm iconic, legendary for fashion, runway, old way, performance, and all those things therein. That's about it.
Okay, I mean, that was bad. That was like
do?
I mean, I don't do windows and toilets.
So you're a jack of all trades.
I don't jack and I do trade. Yes.
Okay, period.
Did you jack your trade?
I will if this payment is high enough.
What's the starting rate?
Huh?
Okay, so I'm glad I'm
negotiable.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming and sharing space on our platform.
You're welcome.
With us. So when this was like a working title, and it's funny because when I came up with this topic, actually Jared, breaking the fourth wall, created this topic, but okay. And it was more, I think I had labeled it an issue, as in the issue of gay loneliness, but then I had to reevaluate, is that really an issue for some gay men? But the working title was the issue of gay loneliness. Why are more than half of gay men single? But firstly, before we start, what is everyone's relationship status that's here?
I can go first. Okay. I am single. I'm single. I am dating. I feel like there's different versions of dating to different people. So I'm dating, like, I guess, yeah.
Well, I hope you don't send this podcast to certain people. What about you?
Me, it's complicated.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I'm single technically if I had to check a box, but I don't know. I don't really have a desire to be in a relationship.
That's fair. And I feel like that's where I was like, oh, okay, the working title of, is it an issue? Like, some people don't want to be alone.
But I got a question.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the statistic from?
You know what?
Made it up?
I didn't make it up. It was, I think that you're right. Maybe there's not tangible evidence of that. I think maybe in my experience of the gay men that I know.
The ones you know on your living review.
So maybe that's where I said, was like, what's this
single girls flock together.
Well, I don't know if they do that. I don't really do the sisterhood of, the traveling. But I just know that in my community space, the one that I occupy,
you're limited.
And then the people that are around me that occupy.
Okay.
You said limited?
No, yeah. And I'm not being shady in your purview and your space around you, your social
I agree
group.
With that. Mm-hmm.
Like in my group, what my best friend's married. One of my other friends is partnered, so I know my other best friend just got engaged a month ago. Oh, that's right. So a few of my friends, but we're in the older generation. Then my purviews, I'm talking about ballroom and my fraternity brothers and all those things there. Mm-hmm. So in some of our purview, when I say purview, as far as you can see in front of you and beside you, that might be the case. That's why I asked you that statistic is because I don't think over half are single. I think over half are in situations, and then some of those situations are not everybody's business. And I think the problem is we spend a lot of time asking people what the relationship status is, not worrying about ourselves. And then we get into those it's complicated places. Mm-hmm. So some people may operate as if they're single externally and have a situation at home and an agreement at home, but we assume everybody's single and they're really not because we don't know what they go home to.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I definitely agree with you from that lens and that perspective. And I think me being in my late 20s and like occupying queer spaces, I just don't see a lot of gay men in relationships.
Spaces?
Oh yes, this is why I'm glad that you brought that up. Because when I did this title, and originally I put queer, and then I was like, oh yeah, Ron don't like the word queer. Can you expand upon why that is? Because we don't really get into it. But I was like, now that I said it, I'm glad. Yeah, give me the tea, girl.
I think we're as offensive as hell. Growing up as a black gay boy who didn't know he was black and gay, there was a game called Smear the Queer. I did not know until I was in my 30s what that actually meant.
What are they smearing?
Smear, so it's a football game.
Okay.
And in the neighborhood, all the guys would throw the football to the queer, and everybody would just tackle him, and he would just keep running back and forth, and everybody would just pile on him. And somehow or other, I always got the ball. But I was also the most athletic in my neighborhood, and I was also the fastest runner. So I just thought it was because I was the fastest runner, and I went to college on football scholarship, so I was that dude. It wasn't until many years later I realized what it actually meant, Smear the Queer was. But then I also thought about, and I know the whole tangible piece about we reclaim that word. The reason I don't like the term queer is because everybody doesn't have the same power to reclaim words and redefine them. Mm-hmm. When you are in the majority, you control language in the dictionary, and then you have the power to reclaim those words. And so if we all didn't agree that this word now means power for us, then we all shouldn't agree that this word means power for us. Only one group decides what that word means, and you define it for everybody else. You take your power. It makes you powerless in that word. And so that's one of the reasons me and a lot of people in my generation cannot stand that word queer. We don't identify with it because we're not. There's nothing queer about us, nothing strange about us.
Yeah, and I think that word for me working in this field has become more normalized. So it wasn't something I was using prior. And I've heard that before. It was more offensive. And then I think I've just become accustomed to using my language and like people around me. But I never thought about it from that perspective. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I've definitely been smeared, the queered.
Oh, you've been smeared, baby.
Whoa.
That's why.
Whole other conversation.
Go ahead. What you were saying, Chris? Actually,
you had your peanut butter spilled on crackers.
Yeah, smeared a little bit. For me, I feel like queer. Growing up, I've heard the word, but I don't feel the same way as Ron, where it's like a negative thing towards me. And being in this space, what we do, I feel like it's been normalized just to say that instead of like other things.
Mm-hmm. And I've grown to understand that it's generational. Just like I prefer SGL, same gender loving, which is a term created by a black gay man back in the mid 90s to identify how we, as gay black men, identify ourselves and our partners. I think oftentimes we are denounced to our description by the way we have sex and how we are partner selected. And I think that queer goes into that space of that for me. And so I don't like gay. Oftentimes, I don't mind using it, but I think SGL kind of fits more because we're same gender loving. It's also like when you hear the term somebody saying, well, I don't agree with your lifestyle. I don't agree with your choices. Well, who I love and those things isn't a choice, it's a lifestyle. It's who I am. No different than you being a straight person. And so how you know the scriptures. Welcome, Danny. Thanks for being late.
Mind your business.
Okay.
Candy.
3 o'clock is 3 o'clock.
You know, my girl.
Minding your business is minding your business.
Okay. Clock that tea. We have
No, I'm sorry for being late.
We have another special guest in the building. Another icon.
Yeah.
Oh. Miss Cherry Poppins, a.k.a. Danny.
Hello.
Can we give like a little intro, tell us about yourself. We had Ron do the same thing, but...
Oh, absolutely. My name is Danny. I am, as Fran said, kind of a drag icon in the community, in Ohio anyway. I love performing. I love using my my drag platform as a way to give others a voice. And I like to use my voice as well to open doors for other people of color.
Okay, period.
That's right.
I live for that. So the working topic was about, and I discussed this with you before, about loneliness, and for gay men specifically. And Ron kind of clocks my tea talking about, well, where'd you get the stat that more than half of gay men are lonely, but also are not in relationships or making that assumption, which is true because I know that you're in a relationship. So.
Fran, I don't think you said what your status is either.
She did not.
Oh, what's my status at the bank?
Because you do a lot of scope of other people's men.
Girl.
Side piece is a status, though, too.
Okay, Ron.
Bitch, hold on. First of all, sweetie. Camera.
Cut this out, please. Side piece is a status.
Y'all should have known.
First of all,
What did they expect?
Don't do my girl, Ron.
Right, she's trying to she been trying to eat me up the whole podcast. First of all, being that I, am the youngest girl here, I have a lot to life to live. Okay. And I think right now I'm in the space of dating, but I'm not really dating anybody because it's kind of flopping. But I think it's complicated, situational.
I understand. Well, you know what the good goddess Nene says?
Girl, I don't. Well, you're not her, so
keep your legs close to married men.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Close your legs to married men. Well, the girl's got to be married first.
Get back on topic.
Orange hexagon.
And we know we might want to run your rap sheet.
I'm a proud side chick. I keep all the rules.
50 years in the game,
I keep all the receipts.
50 years,
all the receipts
50 years in the game.
That brings me back to what you said earlier about how you feel sometimes what's my business is my business. Is that because you go after like married men or DL guys or stuff like that?
So
let's clarify.
So you're more like Kim, not Nene.
Let's go after that. Let's clarify that. let me clarify that.
I wish I could just fall out right now.
It's giving Kim.
Let's clarify that.
Zodiac.
When you're an attractive, well accomplished, beautiful, chocolate skinned Godiva,
okay,
people are attracted to you. No, actually, no. You know what, many over my years, I think, let me figure out how to phrase this right. I'm single.
Okay.
And if you approach me, you approach the single man. I don't bother to ask those questions about what you go home to because it's none of my business.
Honk the horn on
if
the
you
ass,
decide to, if you decide to, if I decide to proceed with that, I do as well. However, I'm not looking for a husband. I might be looking for just a momentary satisfaction, or we might be just chatting up, going to dinner. But however, what you go home to is your business, whatever you choose to tell me. I don't ask no questions, won't be no lies. Because I don't like to be lied to, and I don't like my heart played with. So if you lie to me, we're going to have a different problem. If you play my heart, and I don't get my feelings involved in it. But in saying that, I also don't like my business everywhere. So I'm very discreet about how I interact. But I don't actively go after anybody that's partnered. No, that's not the case. I actually don't pursue anybody. They always pursue me.
Oh, so we're the same.
We not.
Oh, are you sure?
We not.
Are you sure?
We definitely not.
Yeah, you do got a couple years on me in the game, so you're right. Maybe I can learn some things, babe.
But the fun, I think I'm gonna tell you where I'm at now. When I was you all's age, I hate saying that. When I was in my 20s and my 30s, I had a lover, partners, all those things there. I think it takes a while, and I think we talked about this the other day, Chris. Is that it takes you a while to understand what do you like sexually, what do you want.
Okay, yeah.
And as a black gay man, I'm gonna look at you too, because I like to everybody. As a black gay man, we are conditioned that certain things are taboo for us, even in our world. There are certain things that we find attractive, that turn us on, that we wouldn't tell about because the mainstream would say that's nasty. Oh my God, you're a pervert, da da da. But the other piece about it is we are conditioned to mirror our heterosexual counterparts in their relationships. Right. But they're just as nasty and whorish as us.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I've been in church where I knew the deacon had babies with 4 or 5 missionaries in the church, and he was married to another missionary. Literally. And I was like, oh, what kind of shit is this?
What church you go to?
So is that like, to me, we talked about this on the last episode about gender norms in gay relationships. And it's something I'm still trying to navigate around understanding. Like, why maybe a more feminine gay man would be seen more as like.
You call me feminine?
I speak for my own self.
Okay.
You know, I'm a little cunt.
You are?
I don't actually. I think I'm an effeminate. There's a difference.
What?
So this is how I've always been since birth. Like I've always been effeminate. Feminine is an over-exaggeration. So I've always existed in the middle. And so before we had terms like gender fluidity and those things, they're right in the middle. This is how I've always been. On one spectrum, it's funny, one of my frat brothers went to a ball with me, and he said, well, when we're at the ball, you kind of like Butch. I don't change my mannerisms, but in certain spaces, it looks different because everyone else around me, like when I'm in a ball because I'm an icon, because of these things, the homage is different. But when I'm around like when I'm around my frat brothers, most of them are heterosexual, more masculine, I look more feminine to that. But this is my manners don't change. I don't code switch it. And so, because I'm a fighter, because I play football, I've done all these things. And so I've always been in this space here. So I've never been that one to say, oh my God, Miss, I've never been a finger pop. I can play around and be a finger pop, but that's not my norm. I'm not a Miss Lawrence or a finger pop. Oh yeah, Miss Thang. Oh, hey girl, what's the tea?
Okay.
Those type of, that all day, that all always on. We call them finger, but they're always on. Let me describe one. Y'all too young to remember color. And let me single with Blaine and Blaine Merriweather.
They too young.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I mean, I get what you mean.
I've never been the one to walk around with the crop tops and the tight pants on.
Okay,
but I did it before.
I would wear a crop top.
But no, what I'm saying is, I've done it before, back for a ball, but I'm saying all day long, like if you always on that, always high extreme, always thing that we call them finger pops, snap your fingers all day long. Oh girl, yeah, Miss Thing. The Tamar Braxton type of gaze. I don't know how else to say it.
I feel like you go ahead.
So what I was going to say when we're talking about the whole masculine and feminine thing, I think sometimes with us, especially with black gay men, we use feminine sometimes as like a negative.
Yeah, it's a negative connotation.
So I just want to make sure we're careful about that when we're discussing that today, because it's not a bad thing to be feminine.
I appreciate that.
And I definitely think, like I said, it's not everybody. Like you don't classify yourself as feminine, and that's not a bad thing. So whereas, Fran may classify himself as feminine, and that's okay as well.
Well, honestly, I think that me classifying myself that is because other people have told me that. So I never really got into deep thought of like, maybe it doesn't offend me, but I'm like, I've never thought it from a different perspective. But I also feel like I'm authentically myself. I show up as myself. And I also see a lot of gay men tailor back maybe their feminine traits to make societal norms or make themselves feel more comfortable in certain spaces. Also, it's like a gearing of like protection in some spaces as well. So I can understand that. But for me, I'm reflective. I don't necessarily see myself. I see if I have a good balance between both energies. I've always felt that way about myself.
Well, I think the other piece is that no one knows it's a problem until somebody outside of them tells them it's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. And so if you've always been authentically who you are, that's why I said I've always been this way. Until somebody told me it was a problem, that I should act a different way. And I've tried to act those different ways. It didn't fit. It wasn't comfortable for me. I've never done drag, never to put on makeup and all those things there. I played football, those things there, ran out with the hood boys, but I was never that mess. Even guys that know me now, straight guys, they say you've always been this space because I've always been able to fight. I've always been in the hood. I've always been in the boardroom. But I think for me, and I don't mind people. I say, well, you're feeling this. I don't identify with that because now we have the words to say I'm gender fluid. I'm okay with being who I just am because I'm just Ron.
Right.
Just like I said to somebody else, I never came out. Like I don't believe. Like I never went to my parents and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm gay."
Me either. I've never.
That's not a conversation I need to have with them because I'm just Ron.
And also, like, I always feel like straight, pure, heterosexual people don't need to do that.
They don't. It's not their business.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I just live my life authentically myself. And, of course, family members talk amongst each other. It's always a topic of discussion. I feel like they put a lot on children in terms of their sexuality, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I had the same experience. I never formally came out. I never made a Facebook post. That's
that's not funny.
I think honestly, the first time I said on
that's
Facebook,
people's experience.
The first time I said I was gay on Facebook probably was last year. Actually,
yeah, like
because if you look at my wall, I don't say I always say they and them.
Oh yeah,
I don't actually talk about.
Well, that is like when who you're dating.
Yeah, I'll say
they and them. Used to say that back in the days. Like that means like
Obviously
you the trade or something. Like or you're gay automatically if you're using like gender.
But I want to make sure I go back to what you were saying, Danny. Is that the statement I had made a couple weeks ago to one of my actually a straight frat brother, was about femininity in our society. And you're right. I think femininity is the strongest characteristic. If you look at any movement that we've had, any revolution, it was started by a feminine spirit, whether it was a woman, a trans woman, or, lack of a better word, a sissy.
Okay.
From our Stonewall riots to the Civil War Revolution to the Civil Rights Movement. And I tell all my more masculine butch queens and gay brothers is that you all shunned the feminine man, but it was because the feminine man laid their blood down on the ground that you could walk around in your Timberlands and your assholes hanging out, act like you're not one of us. Yes. And then you turn your back on us, but we were the ones taking bricks upside the head so you could walk around and hide yourself in the gyms, in the sauna rooms, jack it off for OnlyFans.
Oh, but thank you for saying that girls. Because that y'all are a mess. Ron, thank you for saying that because I agree, and I think people oftentimes forget that. Forget that if it wasn't for feminine people like Marsha,
go ahead, Marsha.
Even the trans masculine male that was involved with that, like. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be gathered here like this today and be able to do stuff like this. So,
and we forget, and I always say, and I always hate that I'm not that type of gay. Like I remember when Saucy Santana, because I'll use Milan Christopher. Milan Christopher is a really good friend of mine. I've known Milan Milan used to stay at my house at Game Club. I've known Milan for over almost 25 years now. And when Saucy came out, I remember Milan would say, well, I'm not that type of gay. And that wears me out because what is that type of gay?
What does that mean?
Because we're all taking dick at the end of the day. It don't matter if you're masculine, you're playing football for the Buffalo Bills. If you're so in larger society, if you're sucking dick and you're a dude, you're an agate. Regardless of how you identify.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You can be a woman and be with another woman. You just, she had experience. But if a dude touches somebody's penis on purpose and one time in your life, you're gay for the rest of your life. And so they said it's that one time when he said, I'm not that type of gay, there was a whole discourse about that discussion because you have this gay here. And that's when I say finger pop. We would call Saucy Santana would be a finger pop, but he's really not. When you're around him, he's this extrovert, but that's him all the time. And then you have the ones who put that on for show, like blame it on Quay.
Blame it on Quay, yeah.
When Quay
is that a performer though?
Yes. When he's in that's what I'm saying. When he's in a character, that's the character. That's the finger pop I'm talking about. Okay. But when you go in and out of it, these are the characters people are playing. And so when I say finger pop, that's that character. Sometimes it becomes a defense mechanism. Like when I'm definitely shy. I don't like to do public speaking. I don't like to be in large crowd. I do not.
That shocks me.
But that's my job.
Yeah,
that's my job. So, but I go into another space where I put on almost like my feminine side is that defense mechanism. It's that piece that pushes me out there. That's my courageous strength. Like when I have to stand up in front of people, or when I have to walk down a wall, or have to stand up to somebody, or have to stand for somebody, or speak, I go into, okay, girl, get yourself together. Okay, Miss Thang. I did a Miss Thang talk.
Right.
Honestly, I like to sit in the corner by myself and stare at people and be chill. But if I have to go out there in front of people and this space, I have to go into that space, and that's my defense mechanism. So those are things that we go in and out. That's what the beauty of being gay is. You can put on these different code switches spaces, but you have this defense mechanism that you're allowed to. When you're in this toxic and this hyper fake masculine space, it doesn't allow you to exist in that because you're always put on this air. You have no space to change from.
Yes. I sometimes talk about that with drag.
Yeah.
Me doing drag, like I'm a completely different person. I'm a lot more outgoing. Cherry is much more outgoing and in the people's face and direct than what Danny is.
Because it's like drag is a job. And I gained so much appreciation throughout the year with you about like working with you when it comes to drag and like even like being a part of the pageants and realizing like that's a job in itself. Like that's an art form. And I get it, like you're a performer, so I'm sure it's different than like how you show up on a regular day at work.
Well, yeah, but there used to be a point where I wouldn't tell people that I did drag, like especially when it came to like dating. Like I wouldn't put it on like the profiles. I wouldn't really talk about it. What are you doing? Like, oh, I'm going out.
Is it because it's fetishy?
Well,
or you just wanted that degree of separation.
A little bit of both. So on one end, there you get that fetish, that fetish thing, and I'm very sorry, but if you ain't cutting the check, I'm not getting in drag to mess with you. And then on top of that, there's also those who, like I said, when I talk about that being feminine is a negative thing, sometimes in the community, you got that backlash from it. So I used to like keep it away, but now.
I mean, I think your platform is relatively big now. Like people probably recognize.
Yeah, so like, there's no way I would be able to.
That's Cherry. Like,
yeah.
Cherry wants to get pops.
Cherry's a married. Cherry's a little married woman.
I'm not married. Relationship.
Do you want to get married? Because Ron said he does not want to get married. Or you're not looking for a husband, right? That's what you said.
I don't want to.
But you don't want to be married either. Okay.
For me, I want to be able to walk away when I want to walk away without all the complications. So I don't see marriage. I'm not against it, but it's not something that I'm actively seeking. I've been with my partner for 4 years, and we are good the way we are. And plus, when you get married, that's taking on a lot. You are taking on someone else's debt. You are literally saying death till death do us part. And I'm not sure that I want that commitment with another human like that.
That's fair because that's like financial. That's everything. Everything is attached. What about you, Chris? Because I do. I want to get married.
I don't feel marriage is on my like. I have like a goal in life that I have to do. Like if I don't accomplish that, like my life is gonna be over. I feel if I find somebody that wants to get married and like they want to do it and like. I'll do it.
Well, like, okay, not to tell your tea, but like you were in like a long-term relationship. Was that ever a discussion?
In a sense, yes, but I feel like I was so young. I was 22 when I first met him. So I don't feel like that was even what I was even looking for at that time. Like, or
How old was he?
Like 20. He's only a year older than me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not old. Or anything.
Like, well, as your relationship progressed, because obviously when you first started,
as it progressed, probably not. Honestly, to be real,
y'all never had a discussion about it.
I don't think so. I feel like we asked each other, like, "Do you want to get married?" And it was always like, "I don't know," or maybe.
I want to get married, but first I got to find a man that's mine first, right? But like, I mean,
well, he can't be somebody else's if you want to get married.
So I got to start there.
How you get them is how you lose them.
Exactly.
Right. So
that's what I'm saying. So like,
are you saying that for yourself?
Yeah. Has that happened to you yet before?
Shade.
That's my man.
No, have you been with somebody? But if you've been in your days, like we had mentioned earlier, where hey, I'm single, but you may not be, and it might have fractured a relationship, and then come down the line, you hop in a relationship with somebody, and
it happens to you.
It happens to you, and you're gagging, and not in a fun way.
No, honey.
No,
I haven't been in a relationship in a long time. So,
but I thought you had a man.
I do, but
y'all was like, this is my man, that's my man, my man. Yeah. Don't talk about my man, like type.
So it's complicated. So my mom died 2016. I was dating No, he was just an asshole. But no, I didn't lose. No, that just was God's intervention. I didn't put my hands on him. The last dude I was talking to, kind of still talking, sort of. I did do a little special gadget on that one. So for me, I am very. So I'm gonna give you a quick story. This just happened yesterday. I'm horrible at telling when somebody is into me.
Oh, me too.
Because I had so much trauma as far as relationships and picking up those things, and also it also because of my self-esteem has always not been the greatest. That it took a while for me to get to the space of comfortable to who I actually am and being able to say I'm worthy of this, I'm accepting of this is what I am, and so. Somebody that is a really good friend of mine, they told me last week that they loved me. And so I said, oh, okay, cool. I love you too. Okay, bro. I love you, bro.
Okay.
But, and they was they started crying and said, I can't believe how wonderful a guy you are and these things. And I was like, okay, you drunk, boo? This
is a friend?
Yeah, and so we flirted before. We've never done anything outside of
never twirled?
No, not ever.
Okay.
They ain't been in my house. But we've been, for the last year, we've really been supportive of each other. Okay. And this happens to me a lot. And so, but I also have an issue with, because I've had so many guys fuck me over in terms of, I hate to be lied to. And so, like, if you tell me you're going to do something, like if you say, oh, I didn't talk to nobody, like, this is what happened. This is why we got an argument yesterday. This is why I knew that he was serious, because he said Sunday he was drunk. He said, I didn't talk to nobody on the phone. I didn't even pick up my phone. I said, but that's a lie. How you gonna tell me it's a lie? I said, you talked to nobody on your phone at all? He said, no, I didn't. So then that was Sunday. Tuesday, he was like, yeah, because I was over my friend's house. He had called me, but you just told me Sunday you didn't talk to nobody. So I'm doing it. And I do this to everybody because I hate it when you tell me I ain't call nobody. Oh, I do that with everybody because I hate you lumping me with everybody. That pisses me off.
Are you taking that a little too literal, though?
I do that with it's a habit because all my exes did this. They were lying.
So you had like PTSD from past relationships.
So I said it to him yesterday, and he was like, what the I'm trying to tell you, I ain't got to answer to you. You're not my dude.
Oh, you have a toxic relationship with this man.
He just went off. Wow. And I said, who you talking to? So he said, I was at home. He was at home. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm sitting outside my house, pissed. And I feel like I just argued with my dude. He said, I do too. And he said, I told you I love you. I don't have to prove it to you. I don't say that to anybody. I love you. I got feelings for you. I just don't know how to work it out right now. I was like, for real? Really? Hey, I was like, okay, well, hey, boo.
What was me? You just need, maybe, do you feel like you maybe have avoided those feelings more than like you can't tell?
I don't know. I didn't know. I don't pick them up because I just know I'm good. I'm a good dude. Like, he was having some problems on Friday, so I texted him Saturday to say, how you doing? He didn't text me back, right? He hit me up on Sunday, but he didn't talk to nobody. So that's what pisses me off.
That is weird, though. So why lie about something so simple?
That gets me.
Like
why lie about something?
If you lie if my mom and dad if you lie over the small shit, what else you lying at? That's why me and homeboy, the one from USCA.
Oh,
we're still complicated.
That's why. That's not who you're talking about.
Just somebody, he did the same thing. Because when I checked him about his stuff, he's the same thing. But we here, okay.
Because you was about to get into it with the girls. Because
yeah.
You introduced me.
Yeah.
So it's going down with USCHA.
DC.
DC was going down in DC, honey.
I have a question. Yeah. So I hear a lot of times when we talk about these relationships we have, we always love the C word. Complicated. Why does it have to be so complicated with us?
I think it's like PTSD from past relationships.
It is.
And also I think as gay men, our emotions develop a lot slower, at least in my experience.
I don't even know if it's gay men. I think it's men. I think we've conditioned ourselves to think because we are SGL, queer, those things, that our emotions are different than our heterosexual counterparts. And they're not. We're still dudes.
Yeah.
We're still men. We still have issues. We still have trauma. We still have daddy issues. We still have issues of being transparent. And I think that's the biggest fear. The same issues our brothers have with their wives, we're going to have them with our dudes. Being open. And then we're having dudes who are mirroring the same issues with us. Yeah. And we're trying to navigate that at the same time. Both of us can't be hard asses.
Yeah. I think that I've been getting a lot of like people telling me of me being confrontational, or like they have a perception that I'm going to be confrontational, like if it was like a romantic thing. And I think that being like defensiveness also plays a role into it, like being like not necessarily being being defensive comes from like not necessarily want to deal with any emotions that may come with that. I think that's.
But it goes back to, I think it might have been Chris that asked a question a while ago about, in our relationships, do we sometimes feel like we mirror some gender normative roles of heterosexuality, because the more softer or effeminate one kind of plays the more passive role, and those who are the more dominant feel as though we have to play that role of the female, which is confrontation, those things there. And understanding that we are still two identified males.
Right.
And just as strong as you are, I am as well. I just might have a softer voice in that. And being confrontational just means that you just need to figure out how to, if you want me to compromise who I am, you need to compromise as well. So sometimes you want me to compromise a lot. They want you to not be XYZ, but then you got to fix your shit too.
But I think being directness and confrontational, I feel like it's not the same. And I feel like I'm very direct, and that's like, it comes off confrontational. Maybe my delivery be a little bad sometimes, but like, it could be better. But I'm like, directness seems to always like be bothersome. Well, yeah, but it shouldn't be.
We're conditioned to beat around the bush. That's all,
Yeah.
Since we were little, our parents trying to keep...
Chris is a beat around the bush kind of girl.
If you think about it, being a child, there were things your parents tried to keep from you or sugarcoat for you because you're too young to hear. You're not ready to hear that. You're not old enough to hear that. To the point that sometimes people grow up and they don't get out of that, and then when you're direct, they take it as rude or confrontational. No, I'm just telling you. Like, I bet you people think Ron is rude, but I think Ron is just direct. Yeah.
Me rude? Me?
I mean, that's what the girls say.
The girls say,
well, I've never heard that. What I'm saying is, I can tell. Just
I don't think so, because I like the directness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I respect you.
I don't know why you got girl.
She fake guy.
Girl.
I am so not nobody's mean. But I saw something on Instagram on this little reel thing. I never heard that before. The real thingies.
The reels? The reels?
Reels.
Do you know how to make them?
No, you just pop a video. It's come to a reel now on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at something, and it was it kind of changed my life. It was like a few weeks ago, and it was talking about the same thing, directness. And people were talking about, I just say it like it is. People take it. And the guy was talking about it, and he used a biblical quote, but that's not what hit me with it. What he said was, being direct doesn't make a difference if the person is not receiving what you're saying. And you have to say it with the ability to be empathetic on the message you're giving. And when I heard that, it said, I just can't say it because it's there. I have to make sure I'm saying it with the same inflection and caring of the individual who's going to receive it can receive it effectively.
I just feel like people need to realize, like, everyone's communication style is different. I think my own issue, I'll speak for myself, is not realizing all the time that not everyone communicates the same way I do, as well as they're not going to take in how I may place information in their lap the same way that I would. So I've had to realize you have to tailor conversations based upon a person and how you engage with them. And I think that definitely goes into dating. If you're dating multiple men, you can't talk to the same man the same way. I think we all...
But I also think that people make assumptions about you when you don't have those conversations with them at all.
Yeah,
people make stories about you.
Exactly.
When you have not have a conversation with them at all, they just make the assumption because you just, okay. Yeah. And keep them when you don't want to be bothered to be caught up in their mess and drama. Then their assumption is also made, because I do know when people don't know anything about you, they make stories up about you.
Okay, all the rumors are true now, though. In 2020, I'm just like, it's all true.
I did it. Believe them. I did it.
And I said it. Run up.
I ain't clearing no rumors.
Because I feel like for a long period of time, that's led to my defensiveness. Is like you said, people not having conversations with me, so they make up things or they create assumptions, and I felt like I had to defend myself against them. So now I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. People are going to do that regardless. So you kind of like brush it off.
That's true.
But yeah. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I feel you on that. But at the same time, man, let me tell you about rumors. I can't. And I know people were like, I'm not clearing up nothing to believe what you hear. No, don't believe what you hear, because I care about my reputation to the point where I cannot stand for something to be said about me that is not true.
I think in context. Yeah. Context matters too. What it is.
It's just, I don't know. It's just me. I just don't like for things to be said about me that are not true, because I feel like I try to be authentic all the time. And so you can ask me anything. I'm an open book. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll tell you the truth. So when you make it up, I'm like, why couldn't you come and just ask?
Yeah.
I've always thought that I never let anyone who doesn't have a significant impact in my life have a significant impact on my character. I could care less. I don't talk to a lot of people. I honestly, you would be shocked to know how many people I talk to on a daily, if at all. How often my phone does not ring if people don't want something. And when I hear stuff about me, I heard you were saying it. Ask her what my phone number is.
Okay.
When did I talk to them? Show me their inbox. I can show you mine. I don't even know how to delete inboxes. So, and so when those things happen, I just pay it. I just don't care. But people who know me, and that's the reason my circle is so small, because if you say anything to anybody who's directly in my circle or any of my close friends, they can tell you what I would say, what I would. I remember with the jail long time ago.
Was it fun though?
No, it's not those things. It was in the 90s. It was very bad. Okay. I remember we was in court and my mom and dad were there. And the judge had said something. And he asked my mom something. She said, he didn't do that. And the judge said, so he read the charges. She said, oh, he didn't do that. And she was just loud. I said, Mom, she's going to get me locked up. Right. And he said, oh, yeah, he did that. And so she said, man, you want to say something? She said, I know him. And I'll tell you what he did do, what he didn't do. And so the cop was lying. And he said this to me. And she said, oh, he don't even talk like that, Your Honor. And I had the judge and the lawyer had said they had never seen the lie. The judge called my mom to the stand. And she was had her arm on her. Like, she said, no, my baby didn't talk like that, baby. Now, he said that. Now, he said that. Okay. Now, he didn't say that. He lied. And the judge believed it because it was the truth. But if you know me, you know how I'm going to respond to what I'm going to say. Like my friend Richard, who passed away in 2016 as well. I remember... Richard had said something to me, and somebody said, well, Richard Sankey said this about you. I said, she didn't say that. Hey, but he called you a fat black bitch. Now, she said that. She said she called me a fat black bitch, but she didn't say that. When you have authentic friends and they hear rumors about you, one, nobody's gonna sit there and talk about you in front of them. And two, they're gonna know what's said. Like I had a friend call me the other day and said, Chad, I heard this about you, but I already know it ain't true. I said, yeah, we did that, but that didn't happen. He said, okay, I already knew that. Okay. Your friends are cleared up. I don't have to defend myself. Whitney never defended herself.
She didn't care.
She didn't give a damn.
I think for me now, I've realized I don't need to allow people to have emotional control over me. I think being reactionary in context, God has changed me, but I ain't completely changed yet. I've had my moment.
That's all right.
Okay, like I'm trying. But where I was like, okay, girl, what's up? But I've realized I've been in conflict or perceived conflicts with people, and I've fallen out with friends and whatnot, and I felt like there was a lot of antagonism and antagonistic behavior that was happening towards me, and when I didn't give them the power back, not only did it stop, but also it makes the other party look crazy. Mm-hmm. Or it makes them really look bad. And you just it's like, at this point, I'm not about to engage in something that is really not benefiting me. Allowing somebody to have that much emotional control over me, I don't like that feeling afterwards. I realize, like, I've cussed out plenty of people, got into it with plenty of people, and a lot of times they don't solve nothing after the fact. Like, we still don't like each other. You still say what you said or did what you did, and now where we go from here, it probably just made it worse.
Yeah.
I feel like, Chris, like, you're somewhat more passive than the three of us.
Actually, I think Chris is meaner, actually.
You think so?
Oh, my God, yeah. Chris is way meaner and vindictive. You can't tell?
Vindictive.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I'm not a vindictive.
Chris,
I was like, I don't get that.
No, I'm telling you. Chris probably does shit to people that they don't even know he did it to them, too. He does them as silly.
No, that's a snake.
He does them as silly.
Snake is your man.
He's a silly. He done spit in Mr.
Why does he get that vibe? He is a sad.
No. I guarantee you Chris does shit to people when they piss him off and don't say shit about it, just laugh in his head like, yeah, motherfucker, I just got you.
I don't do that.
Well, I feel like Chris might be. I feel like I'm not good at. I think Chris maybe could be more sneaky, but not in like a bad way. I feel like would get caught doing shit because I'm not good at it.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, like I feel like Chris would probably get away with where he's done stole something. He probably would get away with it before I would get away with it.
I feel like I think so too. I'm vindictive. That's crazy.
Why do you say vindictive? That's a strong.
I know that is a very strong word.
Because you've been trying to tear us up the whole time. But
I've been tearing you up.
No,
I'm a great observer. That's one of my.
That's vindictive, dog.
And the other day he told me that my wardrobe, he was late.
I was in there for this.
I did not light you up that day.
No, you cut him up.
You tell me if I don't know if I want to dress mass or if I want to dress femme.
I'll tell you the exact quote. The exact quote was, You don't know who you are within the sense of your wardrobe yet. Yes. Is exactly what you said. I was like,
I agree.
But like, girl. I feel like that is different than, I feel like it goes back to like earlier conversation that we were having about what like either gender norms look like or how we identify. And like clothing is big in how you express yourself. So I feel like that's probably what you were meaning. If you can expand upon that.
So I'm in ballroom. And so and I walk fashion. So I've walked enough to know where if you walk to a store and you know me, you would say, that looks like Ron. I can go in the store and my friend Michi, my best friend Kenny, my other friend, I can walk into the store and say, hey, that Jalen will eat that up. Or this looks just like Michi. Let me send you this picture. We do that all day long. We'll see stuff on sites. We'll go to the store, take pictures. Hey, this is you. Because you know our personality. No matter if it's mask or film, you know what I'm going to wear, what I'm not going to wear.
Yeah.
Or what I want to take you to do something a little bit more avant-garde. So what I was saying was that I think that you're still discovering who you are as a person. And you're trying different things and you haven't found what's comfortable for you yet, how you want to dress. Not saying that's a problem. What I'm saying is that that's why I asked you, what do you put on when you go to the store? Everybody thinks a fashion person, somebody goes to Saks and pulls off what's on the mannequin. That's not a fashion person. Talk to me what you got on Saturday morning and when you just doing your regular runarounds. What do you have on? That tells me if you can dress.
You know, I agree with that because I remember after Shades of Red and we were talking about like you liking your outfit was different for you. And I was like, I really liked that look for, you know, the bell bottom pants. You had your little satchel bag. You normally don't carry bags like that. And I feel like, you know, it was giving a little cut. I was like, maybe that's what.
I thought it was cute, but I felt you looked uncomfortable.
Damn.
Because you kept grabbing. So, and when I say that, you kept fixing your clothes. Every time you got up, you was fixing your clothes, grabbing your bag. You kept fixing your stuff. You looked cute, but you kept trying to adjust yourself every time you got up. It's almost like
because it was something new.
You know, like when a bigger girl, she got on something weird, but she always got to fix her titties. She always got to do this. You can't really sell it if your nipple keep coming out, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, and I can feel what you're saying with that because when it comes to drag, there are some people who wear costumes that wear them, and you can't have what you're wearing.
Girl.
No, and it's true. I mean, y'all went to the pageant, y'all saw.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes the costume will wear you,
or it just no one needs to wear it, and it needs to just go back in the box. Sometimes.
I'm a short queen, so you're not about to catch me out there in like this big hot hair and all, because it's gonna swallow me.
Unbalanced.
Yeah, it's just not gonna look right.
But if you felt as though I was eating you up, I would apologize.
No, I feel like it wasn't like, I don't feel like you came like maliciously or anything like that.
No, it was just funny.
Talking about the directness.
Yeah, it's just your directness, and when it comes out, it's so, like I'm like, oh, did you hear what she just said?
Yeah, I'm like, dang, did she just gag me?
No, I was
Gag City.
And you know, and before it comes out my head, I was like. And I probably processed it for like 35 seconds. So it felt like a lifetime for me. Like, okay, how do you say it this way? Okay, Ron, don't do it that way because I want her feeling. Okay, just say it. Okay.
I don't feel like that hurt my feelings. I feel like that's not wrong. I feel like your statement is true. I feel like I'm still like trying to figure out where I want to go, especially like clothes wise. I've just never been big on clothes or anything like that. So. I honestly really don't be caring sometimes.
and so like if you get I just had this conversation with my I'm the middle boy, and so my older brother's 5 years older than me. And then my younger brother's 3 years and my sister's 4 years younger than me. And then so my older brother, my mom has a teenage grandma, basically raised him. So Tony's light skinned, light brown eyes. He's the pretty Ricky in the neighborhood. Then here comes my dark ass. So grandma bought all his school clothes. So when they would find out that I was Tony Moore's little brother, and I used to have his hand-me-downs and look, busted up. They was like, so when I became an adult, I said, no, ma'am.
Never again.
And so my trauma from that as a kid, and then they would always buy my sister, so she was the only granddaughter. She's still the only granddaughter. And so all the aunts took her school shopping. So she was always done. Her hair always laid. That's how all the boys know how to French braid because her hair was so long and thick. My mom would make us take a section and braid her hair. So she was always laid. My younger brother was the baby boy. So he got all the stuff. So I just got everybody's hand-me-downs and afterthoughts. So when I step out, people think I'm always when I say I'm shy, shy. The only thing is ostentatious or obnoxious about me is the way I dress, but I dress like that because that's who I am. This is what I'm going to do because I've always felt like I've always said, so it's my childhood trauma. So if you came into my closet, I buy this shit because I want to, not whether I have a ball, and this is why I go to sleep in it because I want to. So I've developed my own style based off of that, but these are things that I like to wear.
Do you use clothes or shopping as like maybe like a coping mechanism or that, or like not a coping mechanism, what's the word? As a way from that derives from that trauma as a way of dealing with it internally. Like for me, I feel like shopping is like a way that I relieve stress in a sense, or like I'm able to take my mind away from certain things and I buy things that maybe I don't need to be buying or like things like that. Do you think that that's played a role outside of just loving fashion or being expressive via fashion? Do you feel like shopping is kind of like a way of you escaping those feelings?
It doesn't release pleasurable endorphins because it doesn't matter if I go, like I actually love Big Lots. So even if I go buy the dog some biscuits or something, like some days when I'm just sitting at the house, child, let me do someone go to Target, let me go to Big Lots and grab something. It don't really have to be no clothes or shoes. Like I'll tell myself daily I'm not buying no shoes, but I love a good sale. So baby, if you tell me it's 10% off and I ain't pay full price, but I feel like I got you. But so I love those, and I love the hunt of it. But yeah, pretty much it's my coping mechanism, and also. But the other piece that I explain to everybody, I don't buy shit full price. Everything I buy is it's on sale or a discount or something like that. I am very rarely do I buy, unless I have to have it because I know that I'm gonna have my size if I wait till it goes on sale.
So like all of those things and like our interpersonal relationships that we develop with people, do you think that that's how like trauma bonds are created with people? Not necessarily with fashion, but like even like in relationships, romantic relationships, or things like that. Like having those commonalities from trauma experiences, whether it's from childhood or past relationships.
That's how I connected with Homeboy, the one from CA. We that's why I don't let my guard down with a lot of people, and I still do with him because we have this connection, and we've known each other for a while. We've been in each other's spaces for so long, and I didn't have to he knew me in ballroom, and then the funny part is, ballroom never saw Ronald, the career that I have, until recently. So even though I was part of House Lives Matter didn't actually know what I could actually do because I've always separated drama, live-in from Ronald. Because those are always two different worlds. And so when I started being very active in House Lives Matter, they said, oh shit, I've been doing this for 30 years. And so he said something to me. That's what I kind of, again, I didn't know people flirt with me. So we was in Chicago and he was like, your intelligence is so damn intoxicating. What you do?
Okay,
I feel like I was a poetic. What's the movie with Love? I thought it was a Love Jones. Like, ooh, you know the bitch with the big titties. I was like, ooh, my titties. I was like, this. I was like, ooh. What you say? But he was like, he said, and I don't think people realize how intelligent you are. It's such a turn on. I said, tell me about my eyes again. But those things there. And so we started connecting at that level of like, to talk about our past experiences and what we've gone through. And then we started opening about the need to counseling and those things there. So we had this whole outer body experience. And then when you find somebody that you don't have to have that, blanket up anymore, that shield up anymore, and let it down. And then you tell the MFer, okay, now this ain't what it is. I'm gonna be outside your house in the middle of summer in the fur coat and the red and galoshes, busting your windows out as you playing games with me. And so he said, no, this is what it is. Okay, now we can move forward. But it is that we connect in our trauma space because we find a commonality. That might not be the healthiest space because if you heal in that trauma, but then you realize that you don't actually heal from your trauma. Trauma is perpetual. Healing is perpetual. You have to always reinforce that healing no matter what. And there's different levels to healing. So you might be healing from it right now, and then 10 years from now, something else might open that wound back up. So it's always perpetual reinforcing it.
I feel like that's what they were saying yesterday at our trauma class.
They took my statement?
Yeah, we like a trauma-informed care class that we did at Star House. Shout out to Star House. I think for me, yeah, you said something about being able to take that shield down and be authentically yourself. And outside of that, like, is there times, either past or present, like where you feel you have relationships with people where you can't, and it creates a barrier? And where does that stem from? Is it just trauma that stems from, or is it other outlier things?
It's a lot of stuff. Sometimes everybody wants you to be, say, when, like I said, there's some spaces I always have to be on. And so when I'm quiet, I enjoy being in the corner. We can be in a party. Somebody revealed to me, I had a birthday party in October, and I was just chilling in the corner. And they said, "Oh, you have a social meter, don't you?" I said, "Oh yeah." After about 2 hours, I'm gonna sit in the corner and just go, "Okay."
My therapist just talked to me about that.
And when I'm done, I'm done. I would sit in the corner, I'd be in my phone. And so my best friend both my best friends know that. And so, but it irritates me when people say, "Are you okay? Why are you being so antisocial?" First, that's not what that means.
You have anxiety.
Like, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
Because you put all this pressure in my face, like, "Oh my God, I don't want you to suffer by yourself." I'm good, bro. Back up.
Right.
Because then it makes you feel like you're doing something. Because then we go start fighting. But when I get to that space where you always want to be on, and it's overwhelming. So I just like to just chill in the corner, not watch. And so when you don't have to be that facade to have that on, that's where I don't want to be around people. But I think that even at work, sometimes at work where you don't bring, as a person of color in certain spaces and your job, you don't bring authentically who you are because you're not allowed to, no matter how open and inviting and accommodating they say they are.
Yeah.
Because when you bring who you are and everything that you are as a person of color, that passion, that trauma, those things there, it makes those who share the same color hue as you uncomfortable. But they're allowed to do that, but you can't do it.
Lock that to you.
And so you have to have that wall up at all times. You can only do it within limits, not even limits. I have to share with some of my mentees that just because X, Y, and Z is allowed to be in supervision or be in the meetings crying and these things, don't you do it, because they're going to talk about you. They're going to call you the one that has the anger issues and watch out for you, but not this one over here.
Yes.
And I've seen it happen over years. And so you have to know when to do it. And because we're conditioned to do that in this space here, we do it over here, and even in our friend groups. You don't want to be that friend always going to fuck off. "Oh my God, here go Ronald again. Oh, we can't even fucking order Taco Bell because he cussed on this bitch out because she didn't put no mouth off."
Well, like I feel like a call into that would be like work is a good example because it is hard to show up authentically yourself. I feel like there's been times where maybe I felt like I've experienced that where I haven't been able to. I've had to tailor what I say and how I act and what I do in certain spaces because it's heightened and deal with a lot of microaggressions. But also, I think for me, I'm like, why do I have to continuously do that where I have to make myself feel smaller to make others comfortable? And I feel like, how do we get away from that? And I think that is not only in like professionals, but like in interpersonal relationships where you just have to suppress those things to make others comfortable. And I don't know if I want to do that.
Well, see, I think with that, I'm a big person on, because I think a lot of that has to deal with us being, people of color. We can say the same thing our white counterparts say, and it be taken completely different and completely wrong. Right. But I'm not okay with that. And so that's why I've always been okay with infiltrating predominantly white spaces and having a seat at the table, because you need to get used to someone like me. You need to get used to...
And like with drag, you have to do that.
Oh, and drag, absolutely. I mean, being Miss Gay Ohio America, I was only the 10th one out of 51 years.
That's crazy.
We're good. The last 3 years has been good.
The last 3 years have been great.
Shout out to Jada Phoenix Laurent.
But before that,
Ohio, America.
There was a minute before there was a black person to win Miss Gay Ohio America. So it's all about making sure that we're not being afraid to be authentic in those spaces, taking those risks and being able to have those conversations. I mean, even sometimes with our management at Equitas, I know that sometimes I can be direct and very forward, but at the same time, I said what I said. And you have to respect that. I said, I didn't cuss at you. I didn't cuss you out. I didn't raise my voice. I said how I felt about the situation. And I also gave a solution to how it can be fixed. They can't be mad at you when you're telling the truth and when you're giving solutions. Yeah.
And I feel like same way when I was at Stonewall as the first black cisgender male president after 42 years, that pressure to be the leading helm of an all-white organization, the largest in the state, one of the biggest in the country, that pressure is there. Yeah. I had no guiding principle. I had no rule book. Okay, this is showing. But I knew what needed to be done. And I said to them, I don't play well in white spaces. I don't know. We don't have the same social group. So I didn't have the background in the politics and what hands to shake. Mm-hmm. But I knew my goal was to diversify it, to make sure that we were in the spaces that we included spaces that looked like me. And that's what I did. And so, but then I also learned that I had to learn what was happening. So I was in the office every day looking at the old minutes, looking at the books. Mm-hmm. I taught myself every day for the first year. I went through pride. I went through all the microaggressions. I went through all the white people calling me names. I went to black people telling me I was a sellout. I went to my own homies telling me, well, I can't believe you ever stonewall this and this and that.
Because like they were like, so like, will they tailor it? Like, are they doing certain things? Not even them specifically, like, it's like it's performative. In a sense, like and I feel like that was at the,
they wouldn't even that nice.
So we have a question though, Fran. You brought up like dimming your light and stuff. Like it could be like professional or like relationships, but I feel like even in like if you are actually like in a relationship with somebody, like do you feel like a partner that you have to, when you're with someone, that you should dim your light so your partner could feel better about themselves, or like so they can achieve something, but you're dimming your light, or like you don't want to gloat about stuff because you don't want your partner to feel like a way towards you?
I think that that's very common. I think when, if there's a partner that maybe is like maintaining some type of trajectory in their, whether it's their career or their life, or they make a certain amount of money or any case may be, I think, and the other partner maybe is not in that same boat for whatever reason, whatever their life experience may be. I think that there can be a sense of like not knowing where you belong. You're tailoring your life around this person. And I think that is normal in a lot of relationships outside of just the dynamic of our community relationships. I think that happens with straight people as well. And I think those relationships normally don't last because I think there can become envy on the opposite end.
For sure.
Yeah, here's my contradiction. My parents would have been married. My mom died right before their 40th anniversary, and they were together. They would have been together like 42 years. And my dad had a high school diploma. I watched my mom get an associate. My mom was a PhD when she died. And she made 3 times what my dad made. He worked in OSU and custodial services. But what I did watch was, I remember my mom would always say, you can't forget the fragility of a male's ego. And she would say it all the time to me. Maybe because I was the gay one. She would say, child, I already know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let him think he made a decision. But when she was, she wasn't really, she was being a slight fight, but what she was saying was that I'm going to allow him to be an equal in this relationship. Even though I'm paying all the bills, even though I make the most money, I'm the most educated, I don't want him to feel belittled. So there is a way not to dim your light, but there's also a way to let your partner shine what they shine in. I've always learned that in my circle, everyone has to be smarter than me, because if I'm the smartest one in the circle will never get higher than where it's at. And so my mom was a brilliant woman, but my dad was good at what he did too, and so she needed him to complete her. And so watching that beautiful, and it wasn't perfect at all, babies everywhere, but watching them grow together throughout my life, it was a good example of what a good, healthy relationship was, in terms of how she catered to him a lot, but I also watched him cater to her. And I also watched how she allowed him to excel in the relationship and feel supported and healthy in the things he wanted to do. But he also, even when he retired, when she's finished her doctorate, he retired and he said, baby, you go ahead and figure out, I'm going to go back to work. So he retired and went back to work to support her in that, because he wanted her to excel. So
I think that where the experience is different maybe is like when you had a good example or an example of a 2-parent household in a relationship dynamic that even if they had the issues, it was functional. Like a lot of us may not have that where we see a healthy relationship. Okay, I'm just saying. Like I think that from that perspective, like you don't know, you don't learn nothing. Yeah, like you don't have that example, whether even it's a gay relationship or a heterosexual relationship. So like when you get in a relationship, you may not know how to navigate it.
Yeah, I feel like I got into my relationship when I was so young. First boyfriend, didn't know what to do. I was following my man everywhere.
But mine was the same. I was 20 and Tino was 22. My first relationship. And we were together for 6 years. And
ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was in the military. He was Puerto Rican.
Okay.
I thought he was light skinned, but he was Puerto Rican.
I'm Puerto Rican, so shout out to the Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, oh my God. I had met him. I was at the club. I was kicking and splitting because that's what we did back in the day.
Kicking and splitting.
We instead of voguing, we used to kick. It's a long story.
Oh,
and I was walking out the bar and I heard somebody say, what's good? Que pasa? I was like, what did he just say? I had never heard. I said, what did he say? I thought he was light skinned. I light skinned boys. He said, where you going, Poppy? I said, you a cute little thing.
Love a
and so he was gorgeous. And so he walked to my car and we were talking. He had told me he worked at JCPenney's. This was at Eastland. And so I didn't forgot to get his number, child. I was so flustered. So you know me being this black woman. I popped up at Eastland JCPenney's the next day. Like, oh my God, you work here! Oh my God, we was together for 6 years after that, baby.
That's right. You're man.
Period. I was
you pop up. So
I was like, oh my God, it's so weird. Didn't I just see you outside the Eagle? He said, you know what you do, baby. No, I did not. Oh my God, you work here? We was together for 6 years.
Oh, so you do pop up.
What happened now?
We broke up. He did break up with me. He broke up. He was my first heartbreak, and it was horrible. And I remember calling my mom, said, I just got my heart broke. She said, boy, I don't want to hear about it. She said, she on the phone. I remember I got on the Greyhound bus station, and I just got a ticket and went somewhere and came back. But I also remember
we had to move across the country.
Yeah, well, I came back, but I do remember I did not handle it well. The dude that he didn't cheat on me, but the dude, I was thankful that he broke up before he cheated on me. But the dude that he wanted us to mess around with, he had him at his house, and I beat the dude up at the house.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
You was fighting over a man? Well, you're a man. Okay.
I mean, you together 6 years.
I was
got
young.
In my house. Oh wait.
I bought some tires. I bought some tires that year. I remember I bought some tires for Christmas that year, and
you know what? Did you fight him now? We know we're not promoting violence, but did you?
Oh yeah.
So are you? Oh, that's good in relation. Yeah. Okay.
But no.
I was wondering. I was like, are we really going there?
Yeah. Like that.
No. But back to Danny. Back to Chris. But I think that your first heartbreak and your first relationship kind of sets the precedent. But like I said, he was in the military. He's in the Marines. He had been with a woman, had a fiance. He lived all over the world, and he taught me a lot about a relationship. So my first relationship was a good one. We actually became friends after he eventually committed suicide, but that was years later. Mm-hmm. But the depression he was dealing with, I wasn't around him then, so I didn't know. But that first relationship kind of sets a precedence how the ones afterwards are going to be. So I probably spent my entire life comparing to what his name was Jacinto House. I spent my entire life trying to compare to what Jacinto made me feel like and how he treated me to everybody else.
I have a question. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel that. The relationship I'm in now, I got in when I was 31 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 35.
Oh,
I'll be 36 this year, but whatever. Allegedly, yeah. Anyways, my whole thing is before this relationship, my relationships weren't lasting more than like a year and a half, and partially my fault, partially their fault. However, whatever. But I think I didn't start really learning how to navigate relationships until I got what I call the hoe out of me. I started,
we was just talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, through my 20s, I had this idea about what I thought a relationship was going to be. It is not that. Yeah. It is not all rainbows and sunshines. Half the time, I'm like, I want to leave because you get on my nerves. But at the end of the day, we are in a relationship and I do love him. And, I've kind of figured out how to navigate through that, and we're happy. So
okay, do we have time for one more thing?
I think so. Do we got time, or did
I just have a follow-up question.
Did we get on body image and self-esteem?
Well, we still recording though. It's okay.
Oh,
you said okay. So I wanted to ask Chris real quick. So is that like those like first relationships and then that heartbreak that you felt and then like maybe feeling a level of having to make yourself maybe smaller or you felt smaller in your relationship? I don't know if you were talking about yourself. But
No. I don't feel like I felt smaller. I mean, obviously like he was like more successful like career-wise, money-wise, and stuff like that. I never felt like envy towards him because like that's my man. So like anything like he does, I'm going to support him, and like I want him to achieve everything. So like I never felt that way, like because we got together when he was like getting his master's. So, but I will follow up as far as like Ron was saying about like your first relationship kind of like dictates like how you want to see like your other relationships. I feel like what I went through like with him, it's like looking back and realizing like some of it was kind of crazy, but like it makes me realize like what I want, like what I'm looking for now in dating wise. Like this is actually how I want to be treated, and if like you don't meet that, like sorry, like someone else was gonna do it. And then like dating like over the last year or so, like they really are good guys out there. So, like shout out to God because like he's actually been blessing me with good guys.
Okay. Guys? Or are you just a guy?
No. Well, like, I've only dated a few guys, but I feel like all the guys I've dated really
very
are,
kind. Like,
very kind, very nice. Like, they honestly did a lot for me, or they'll do anything for me.
That makes them good as long as they're providing stuff for you.
No, and they're not, they don't provide, like, the guys.
That was a good call out.
Yeah, thank you. The first guy, yeah, I guess he was a provider or whatever, but like these other guys, they're not like providing for me.
Would they say you were a good guy?
I hope so. I don't feel like I'm always a good guy. Honestly, I feel like I make bad decisions.
That's honest. I appreciate honesty.
Yeah, that's why I thank God. Like, I don't know how God has really been sending me good guys, like, because I really am a bad person. Like,
I don't think you're a bad person. I think, like you said, you've made some maybe bad decisions.
Vindictive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, because that's
Not vindictive. What? Okay, like, go ahead and finish your.
That was it. Yeah, I was wrapping it all up.
Okay.
Vindictive. Okay.
Lastly, and I kind of want to discuss this. Is like, I think in our community, I think body image is something that it plays a big part in dating, and like. Even like, I think there's a few things. Body image, colorism plays a huge part in like, it doesn't. And I think it does. I think that gay men, or like really society in general, like colorism plays a huge part in dating norms, but you seem to not agree.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you don't agree? Like,
I've experienced it.
When you made that face, I was like,
body image,
really?
like, what ideal body image looks like for gay men. I think that's something that we constantly hear, like whether it's on the apps or whether it's social media standards of what that is. I just think that it's ageism as well, and I don't. How do those stigmas get broken? And I obviously I would like to hear what some experience of those. But how does that play a role in like how you engage in potential suitors?
I know for me, self-esteem and like body image has always been a constant mental battle with me.
Same.
Like I said, for me in drag, you can't tell me I'm not stunning. You can't tell me I'm not the shit. But when I'm out of drag, that changes. It's different. I will question spending $50 on a pair of jeans for Danny, but I'll spend $500 on a costume for Cherry in 2 seconds. And I think part of that, honestly, comes from a self-esteem issue. It took me a long time to even kind of get to where I am with feeling attractive and things like that. Because, again, I never felt myself conventionally attractive in the gay world. And a lot of times when it came to dating, black men, I was too white for them, which is crazy. I wasn't, I wasn't hood enough. I didn't act black enough. I didn't Kiki enough. And then we won't even get into white men because that's a whole nother segment as far as interracial dating goes. So, I mean, even though I am in an interracial relationship right now. So,
have you guys has any of you guys been with white guys or?
No.
Is that personal?
Is that personal?
Have I had sex with a white guy?
I mean, yeah, dated.
Oh, let me think. So there was one white guy that liked me, and I guess we dated. We never had never messed around, but
So
he used to pay my tuition and buy my books.
Oh, so he was your sugar daddy.
Not
He used
really.
to pay your tuition.
I was on scholarship. My parents paid my rent, but he wanted to give me money, and I took it.
And you didn't do nothing?
No, not at all.
That's right.
I had a boyfriend, Stephen Easley, and then there was one white guy that I met. It's funny stuff like this. There was one white. I did have sex with two white guys. Both of them were down low. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
But what's your thoughts on it? On the what Danny like?
But I remember when I was almost 300 pounds. No one, because I played football. I was always muscular.
Oh, you was like, what was your position?
Fullback, inside linebacker, all city, all state.
Linebacker.
I was like, I like football. Actually, that's something that people wouldn't. That's another stereotype I have to deal with. I like,
but
football.
I think for me being athletic, and then gaining weight and all those other things there. Back in the day, my self-esteem played a big role on, I felt as, like I said earlier, I felt as though I didn't like what I looked like. When I looked at myself in the mirror. I would not, like when I had long dreadlocks. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. Only time I would look at myself when I was time to do my hair. And my partner selection I felt was limited. It was real funny. I didn't even know there was like a big boy community. Until like fucking 2010, I knew nothing about big boy community, anything like that. There's a whole lot of community of people like bigger boys. However, I have been going to gay pride since like the mid 90s and shit. And I went to a meeting, like these big boy things in Atlanta shit. And I realized all these motherfuckers I done fucked over the years. Wait, y'all was choosing me as a big boy and I didn't know it? Like literally be at these events. I didn't know because I lived in Ohio. We didn't have no shit like that. And then I started realizing there was power in who I was in my body. Even now today, like there was a whole period of my life where I don't remember shit. I was probably doing some really reckless shit. Thank God I ain't dead. And I get people that say, you don't remember we had sex and this, and you lived in this house. Okay, well, child, you probably 1 in 10 that day. I don't know. Because I felt as though at that one time when you don't feel that you can say no because you don't know when your next person is going to be interested in you. And I was having sex with individuals to fulfill that need that I couldn't fulfill in myself as far as my self-esteem. I think now I'm older, I'm confident in who I am. And I think the other piece about no matter how big you are is confidence plays a lot and actually plays a lot in how part of selection happens. I think, and it plays like we're all attracted to nice bodies, things like that. But I don't see nice bodies with limp dicks. I don't see big dicks that don't get hard. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? I've always liked the thicker type of dudes. And I've always been thick. And so I've never had I don't know if I've ever had an issue. I've had people turn me down because I wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
I mean, people turn me down because
really
I was thick. That, I don't like them your size or this and this, or I'm not masculine enough. The same things. I don't think I've ever experienced, colorism. I've had the opposite. Like I've had guys after me because of my skin tone and because of my size. I've had guys literally. I love guys chocolate like you and your size. Oh my! Like I mean, if I.
Oh, I can't stand to be called chocolate. I hate that.
Yeah, like food terms, like when it comes to your skin tone. I saw something like that on Twitter. Like,
I get called chocolate,
like caramel chocolate, like girl.
And then I've gotten lighter as I gotten older.
Okay.
So I was darker, like really, really, really smooth, darker Godiva. Now I'm a lot light because you can see my freckles and stuff now. Okay. So before, and it's still the same thing, but it's almost fetish. And we didn't know I didn't know those were fetishes because I'm from Columbus. So you don't have this hash pods of these different type of communities that are happening. So it exists there. I think the problem is that people are chasing, like now the girls are getting BBLs, get their teeth done. I've always had straight white teeth. Like I've always had, the funny part is, I've always had these aesthetic things that people are now going after to get cosmetically, but I never appreciated when I had it.
You're right.
I've always had curly hair, even though I do enhancements in it now, but I never appreciated it. I've always had, it's always about hair texture, but when I was growing up, my parents knew my hair was kinky and nappy. They never taught me how to appreciate it and make my hair curly naturally, so I would put chemicals in it. Then I realized it did it itself. So you wait till you don't have it anymore to realize I've always had this till somebody, because my self-esteem was so low. And so now people are out getting the same things we've already had, and you say, shit, I wasted my fucking 20s. I was a dime piece back then, didn't know it.
Okay.
That part. I feel like I personally probably have like body dysmorphia. I always talk about like my body and stuff. Like I used to be a big kid growing up, and then like I think like 2016, I lost like 40, 50 pounds. And then I feel like I was still pulling guys, I guess. But like when I lost weight, it made like people thought I was cuter, like more attractive, which then like made me think like, oh, if I'm not skinny or then I'm not attractive to get guys or stuff like that. I mean, the face card never declined. So even if I'm big, I can pull anybody. But
allegedly.
I don't have a type though either. Like I like big guys. Like most of the guys I talk to are like thicker. So shout out to the thick guys.
I feel like I went through the same kind of experience as Chris in terms of like being bigger, and I feel like into my mid-20s, that's when I started feeling attractive. And I think it was correlated to losing weight and like those societal norms that make you seemingly more attractive by, society standards of beauty, which is kind of like warped and probably insecurity.
I think it's your confidence change. I think it's that
too.
I think it's the weight change, but I think you start being more confident in who you are.
Yeah. I think that definitely happened in just like growing as a person and like learning yourself as a gay man. I think that all of that played a role into it, but I definitely feel like I've dealt with a lot of like body dysmorphia and not really I've recently taking more ownership of my body and being like more free in how I express myself, and even like with clothes that I wear or like things I would post on social media that I would never post, and now it's like
risky.
Yeah, like so like it's just, I think you're right. I do think confidence grew with age and just like experience, but I also feel like I knew that I also was very insecure. And I think that's normal. Obviously, we all deal with insecurities about ourselves and our appearance. That's normal human nature. But
I want you both to be careful about diagnosing yourself for something. Mm-hmm. So I don't think either one of you got the body dysmorphia.
For real?
I think that's just a term. Body dysmorphia. That's
conditioned.
Yeah, body dysmorphia is a term that you hate the body that you're in, and you feel like you're born in the wrong body, and that you constantly want to keep it changing. And they diagnose like trans individuals, that people that have maybe eating disorder, things like that. I think what you all are struggling with maybe is self-esteem or self-worth concerns, more so than body dysmorphia. Being constantly concerned about your weight, and if I gain weight, will I be worthy of having this person, or will I be attractive, is more or less a concern of self-worth more than body dysmorphia.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, because really at the end of the day, because we're not, like Chris had mentioned, we're not putting our standard on somebody else. Right. We don't care. I don't really have a type either. So like those nuances don't really bother me. I don't really like engage in like caring what someone else's body looks like. Mm-hmm. So why am I putting so much pressure on myself? Mm-hmm. Because like you said, it never really stops nothing. Like, so I'm like, it's really like things that are in my own head that I've created for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And through therapy, I've really been able to navigate that, like counseling services, quite honestly, over the years. And those are things that you deal with, but you learn how to manage them. I feel like even with traumas, I've learned how to manage them. Like they do come back up. There's triggering moments, but I've learned how to manage a lot of those things that I wasn't doing when I was 21, 22. And I'm 28 and I'm like, okay, going into the next phase of my life, like how do I want to carry that and carry those burdens?
The biggest thing with my self-esteem, I started to feel sexy and comfortable in the body that I was in closer to my 30s. When I got into my 30s, that's when you started to catch me at a wall on jock night in a harness. Okay. That's when you start that's right. But that's just real. Like I started to just be like, either you're gonna like what you see or you don't like what you see. Don't approach me if you don't like it. Stay away. And I find once I got to that, it started to be better. It's still a battle. Even here, I'm sitting here now like I need to go home and shave my head because I know, like, I'm balding. Like, no, but it's real. That's just the most vulnerable I can be about it. There are just certain things about myself that I know that I constantly try to hide, and I try to cover up, and I wear hoodies and things like that because I know I'm not skinny. So those are little things with me and my body and all that. And I do appreciate the call out about the body dysmorphia because I don't like that term being used when we're just talking superficially about our bodies. Because body dysmorphia, that's kind of a disorder, like you said, with more trans individuals.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I think it's all vanity, and it's a lot. I've realized it's kind of like, yes, like self-worth, but also like myself, speaking for myself, it's, I want to say it's selfish I think that I'm aware also that by society standards, I have a lot of privilege, whether it's the color of my skin or like how my hair texture is and things of that nature. And I think that we're so consumed with vanity a lot of times because my experience is completely different than you all's experience. So like I've had to take into account that there's a level of privilege that I do have, and really nobody wants to hear light skin tears. But also my experience is valid as well and what I go through. But I also really light skin girl, one of them light skin tears, girl, shut up. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be like trying to be aware of that.
But also, I don't think I think that there's some truth to your correlation because in your heads, I lost weight, now they at me. I gain weight, the phone doesn't ring. It's almost like Pavlov's dog. Ring the bell, I'm hungry.
But I also don't think that, like, I don't think that the phone don't ring. Like, I feel like it's just all in my head.
But your initial statement was when you first lost the weight, I got more attention.
Right.
So then it took a while for you to realize, oh, if I gain some weight, the phone's still going to ring. But in that space, I got different type of attention.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, so then we're always looking for that. It's almost like that first high.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that there. I'm going to get that first fix, regardless of what there's after approach. Like, even like, I find myself sometimes when I'm, get rejected or feel like somebody that I wanted attention from didn't give it to me, going back to the one who gave me attention, now all of a sudden I'm all into you. Hey, what you doing? Hit me up, blah, blah, blah. And so, because I'm turning back to getting that need met there, and that's not fair to them. Wow.
I thought it was on silent.
I want a quick question. You said something about rejection. I feel like, how do you take rejection when you are like approaching somebody and they reject you? Like, do you often get rejected?
I just feel like there's a couple forms of rejection.
I've just often rejected. How dare you?
Girl, well.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You know, we all been there. Yeah. I feel like there's like the physical rejection is one thing. I really get like, I think emotional rejection for me is a lot worse in terms of like, even if you're like in a relationship with somebody or you're dating somebody or you have a situationship and they may be physically attracted to you and all those things or whatnot, but they're emotionally rejecting you as in like you're asking them to either communicate to you or in a way that's seemingly like makes sense, like those nuances of like communication or like those things that bother me, and you don't take those into account and how that affects me and my feelings. That's to me is like emotional rejection. I think that that's way worse than like, oh girl, I'm just not that into you. For me,
I get that.
I agree with that. I dated a guy who was. I dated a guy who was a drug addict, and a lot of times I felt emotionally rejected because I came second to drugs, and I would have rather him be like, I don't want to be with you anymore because, you know, I'm not into you anymore, rather than like me feel like I'm alone but stuck in this relationship. Yeah,
that's how I felt. I feel the emotional rejection sucks the worst because I feel like that's what I got in my past relationship, and I felt like, especially to a point like towards the end where like I felt like bring it all back together, loneliness while I'm in a relationship. I'm dating somebody and
you're
I'm still lonely.
Yeah,
and like that just made me realize like I don't want to feel that way ever again in a relationship.
Does that make you scared to get into another relationship?
Now, actually, like, just really, like, saying that out loud, like, yeah, low-key, I feel like that's why I haven't, like, jumped into, like, getting in a relationship. Because, like, I'm, like, PTSD or, like, nervous if, like, are you eventually going to reject me if you, like, see, like, the full me, you know? Yeah. Relationships suck.
Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate you all's time. Thank you for sharing space with us, Ronald and Danny, Cherry Poppins.
Cherry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.